Today on the GrandLAN video blog, Heresy number 1. Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen. Ghostbusters, The Other Side. Batman and the Outsiders. And Atomic Robo, Dogs of War. Hey everyone, it's Craig. Welcome to the GrandLAN video blog for comic shipping October 15th, 2008. We have 2 video blogs again. This first one will be some DC books, some indie books that we checked out this week. The second part will be all Marvel books. So if you're looking for your DC and your indie facts, you're in the right place. First up, Atomic Robo and the Dogs of War, number 3. It's more of the same. I can't say anything bad about this book. It's fun. It's hilarious. Robo is one of the best characters created in indie comics probably in the last 2 years. Really well done. I think he's probably carrying Red 5 Comics on his shoulders. The story continues with the World War II flashback of Robo fighting against the Nazis with this Amelia Earhart-esque character that is pictured on the cover. It's just a fun little romp. And again, there's an excellent backup story. If you're not reading this, I've told you so many times, check out the first trade paperback. Check these out individually for the second series. Red 5 is doing some good work, so definitely don't miss out. Next up, Batman and the Outsiders. Hey, did you know this is a Batman RIP tie-in? Wrong, it's not. Somebody posing as Batman tells the Outsiders, hey, the Black Glove is after me. Don't try to come after me, but here's my coordinates. And then they go, man, maybe we should upload those coordinates into our Android robot. Kaboom! Duh. The Black Glove has a taped message for somebody later, apparently in the Batcave, which I didn't know people were just going in and out of the Batcave regularly, like Batgirl and Robin and all these other people now that Batman's gone completely crazy. Supposedly there's a lot of lack of continuity just to tell this story. I don't think anybody told Frank Thierry what was going on in these other books up here, that actually feature the Batman RIP story. I mean, really, even these two, Grant Morrison really didn't tell Paul Dini between those two what's going on.
I don't think Grant Morrison knows what's going on.
I think Batman RIP is the House of M of 2008. Next up, Ghostbusters, The Other Side, number 1. I know what you're thinking. What the hell was he doing reading this book? This is actually a very well put together book. IDW in this case has decided not to put the writer and artist name on the cover. I suppose if you're trying to market this to Ghostbusters fans, you probably don't need to do that. But Keith Champagne, who has done some work at DC, I was trying to rattle off the good stuff he's done at DC, and all I could come up with was the stuff where editorial had, towed him into writing some terrible things like World War III for the 52 series. But
Countdown Arena.
Yeah, that's right.
My brain hurts thinking about it.
Ultimately, Keith Champagne is not a bad writer because this is obviously a good proof of that. This is a well put together story. I was never really crazy about the Ghostbusters movies, and
blasphemy.
I know. Revoke my nerd license. I dare you. It's right here in my wallet. It's right here. Take it. So, anyways. This is a really well done book. I obviously recognize the characters because as a kid I watched the cartoon with Slimer, so I recognize all the actual cast members of Ghostbusters. It's a really well done story. It's an interesting first issue. Plenty of things happen. It's not just prologue. It's not just setup. It's not, here are these Ghostbusters, 4 people who carry around packs, blah, 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 blah. It's kind of got the campy theme, from before. Obviously Slimer's not there. I've heard that because there's supposed to be is it Ghostbusters 3? There's never was a Ghostbusters 3.
No, there was.
Now they're working on one. No, Ghostbusters 4 then? I don't know. But supposedly the film franchise is alive again, and there's a video game, and there's this comic book, and it supposedly hurt the video game or the comic book or something, somewhere along the line. Somebody's storyline had to change because the movies were coming back. So maybe it's the video game is official continuity as a springboard for the comic book, or as a springboard for a possible future movie. Whatever it is, I heard that the content of this book had changed from what it was originally intended. Ultimately, if it did change, it changed for the better. This is a well-done book. Again, it's a book that I would say might suffer from having the Ghostbusters title, as opposed to, people who might pick it up just for a fun sci-fi horror ghost romp. It's a very good book. It's very well done. It's a good first issue, and I look forward to seeing what the rest of the series is going to be about. It's a definite starting point. Oh, Heresy #1 by Ape Entertainment. We're going deep in the well. I'm actually not quite sure why I ordered this when I wrote my order, but apparently I did. I'm kind of happy I did. This is not actually written by Tom Brady. That's been the running joke of the day. We've decided to continue saying, hey, Tom Brady wrote this book. No, he didn't. But the art holds up to the photorealism of the cover. It's very well done. In some places, I'm actually pretty sure they photoshopped some actual pictures in there. I'm not quite sure. I can't, prove that. I'm not making a terrible claim towards this artist. But ultimately, really an interesting book. It's an interesting concept on vampires and how they attack people, and this cult of vampires and how they operate. A lot of ground is covered here. It's the first of a 4-part miniseries, and unlike a lot of indie books nowadays, it is only $2.99. It's very well done. I'm not quite sure where the Russian flashbacks are going. That's what this guy on the horse is in the middle. It's kind of a strange thing. There's some bizarre things, and you kind of for a second you really have to focus and go, why are they showing me this? But it's quality. It's quality writing from an independent company. Definitely going to be under the radar. You're probably going to have to ask for it. If you're a big horror fan, you probably, your comic store probably doesn't carry this. Definitely track this down if you like vampires, if you like horror, if you like, some serious blood and guts, intense suspense stories. It's very well done. Lastly, in this installment, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen one-shot. I don't know what convinced me that I should possibly even try to read this, but I was liking it. Maybe I was drawn in by the Ryan Soup cover. I recently had a discussion with Blue Goblin about who should be doing the art on X Factor, and I really miss Ryan Soup's art from the Madrox miniseries. It's a story about Jimmy Olsen, and everybody treats Jimmy Olsen as if, oh, someday, Jimmy, you'll write an actual article. Someday you'll be a newspaper reporter instead of just the photographer and the little gopher in the office. Now, I don't know if I can really buy that, because it's been, 20 years? 30 years?
60?
Inside of continuity. Yes, 60 years outside of continuity, but 20 or 30 years in continuity that he's been in his mid-20s wearing a vest and a tie and, going and getting everyone's coffee. It seems really naive to expect people to buy that. And to think that this is going to go somewhere and needs to tie into future events in the DC universe, and that Jimmy Olsen was, part of Countdown to Final Crisis and all of these sorts of things. This book has absolutely nothing to do with Final Crisis. It has nothing to do with the new Krypton special, which it supposedly is continued in. This is a story about the Guardian and about the various incarnations of the Guardian throughout the years, and of course in the X-Men vein lately of, you remember when you were told this happened? It didn't really happen this way. There's a secret meaning behind it all. If this would have been a complete story, if this would have actually been a story, here's the Guardian, here's the secret meaning behind the Guardian, here's Jimmy investigating the Guardian, here's a plot conclusion, I would have been happy with this book. I wouldn't have said, hey, it's the book of the year, but at least I would have felt like it was worth paying $4.99 for. When I get to the last page and it goes, to be continued, Superman New Krypton Special, this is disappointing. It's a one-shot, DC. It's supposed to be one purchase. It doesn't have a New Krypton trade dress. It doesn't say, leads into New Krypton. Why do I have to continue to read your 10-part Superman crossover to understand a one-shot? This is poor marketing, poorly put together, and it pretty much represents the bad side of DC Comics right now, where they have no direction. Between this and Batman R.I.P. over there, there's no direction, there's no reason for people to buy the crossovers. You just haphazardly just throw them together, we're going to link this book into this book and this book into that book, and it's going to be great. No, it's not great. It's terrible. Save your money. Don't buy this. Track down Heresy, track down Ghostbusters, track down Atomic Robo, and check out some indie books. That's enough for this episode. I'm PO'd.